your focus is kind of like a muscle. It is something to be practiced. And the more that you get reps in, the better you get at it. What's up, my friends? Welcome to You Are the Rockstar Show, episode 10. Super excited to be here today. This episode is called Attention is the New Currency. Now, what does that mean? Well, I was asked a little bit ago when I did an Instagram poll what a few topics that you guys wanted me to talk about on this show. And one of those was a question, kind of a statement a little bit from Carly. And she was wondering, how do we stay focused on our goals? Now, I took that as something that had to do with attention. So that's where this title came from. Your attention being a very valuable form of currency, and we'll get to that in a minute. But to answer Carly's question, I just want to say that one way to stay focused on your goals is to make sure you see them frequently. In my first book, You Are the Rockstar, I talk about how when we write down the things that we are aiming for and we put it somewhere we see every day, something happens to our mind. Our subconscious gets programmed in a positive way when we get reminders of the things that we're working towards. For me, I like to put my goals somewhere that I see in my room. The place that I live now is more of a studio apartment, so I just kind of have it next to my desk. So I see that frequently. I also like to have them in my office here, even put reminders on my phone that will pop up from time to time. But the more you can see it, in my opinion, the better, because that's how we reprogram our mind. And the way I like to set my goals, and you guys all know this because you probably read my books. If you haven't, you can check them out on Amazon. It's the ones that are literally right behind me. I like to write them as if I have them already. Like what I'm grateful for, I like to attach a positive emotion or action word to them. Like it feels amazing to have this much money, or it feels amazing to have attracted this into my life. That, whatever it is, it feels amazing to have written my third book. I'm super excited to be sharing my third book with everyone and elaborate from there with as much detail as possible, because I think that helps bring it into fruition easier. So that's one way that we can all stay more focused on our goals. And this is from my own personal experience, but I like to just see it a lot. And I know focus can be something that's a little bit more difficult to attain if the world is constantly buzzing and going around us and we have a lot of things to do. You just get caught up in that list of things we got to check off. And it's easy to forget about our goals. And the way that we don't forget is by putting them somewhere we see a lot. When your subconscious mind knows that there's a list or a goal sheet that's there that you pass every day, I just believe it works, regardless of if you read it or not, because it's there. And it does help, of course, to read it every once in a while, but just putting it somewhere really, really helps that you see every day. Now, getting even more specific, because we know we love specificity when it comes to our goals, create goals every day. Obviously, these aren't going to be like, something massive. Like if you're trying to create an online course, you're probably not going to do that in one day. I mean, maybe you can create an outline or film the parts, but most likely it's going to be something you plan for. If you're building a house, you're not going to do it in a day. You're going to do it with small incremental tasks, just like you would for, let's say, like studying or doing a project. You could wait till the last minute before it's due, which can work, because if it wasn't for the last minute, nothing would ever get done. That's how OLNs we used to function. Very grateful to say we don't really function like that anymore, which is awesome. But yeah, so that's a great way to stay focused on our goals by creating bite-sized chunks daily that help us get towards where we want to go. So if I'm going to, have the goal of writing a book, I'm not going to sit there and be like, I need to write a book in a day. What I could do is say, hey, today I want to outline the entire book and create a list of chapters. That might change because most stuff does, but that at least gives direction and focus, and then I can check that off, and that's building momentum. So then the next day, maybe I can say, all right, I'm going to break down the first 3 chapters into bullet points that then maybe another day I unpack some more. I hope that makes sense. If you do this, setting a couple goals for yourself that day, maybe 3 to 5 of them, be like, hey, I want to get this done. I want to get, a rough draft of this song done, or I want to have a rough draft of this paper done. Maybe I want to go out to lunch with my friend. Maybe I just want to go in the park and detox from social media. Just set a couple goals that are attainable that you can do that day, and then execute and get them done. No excuses. just go and crush that. That's how you stay focused, because focus is not something that you have and it leaves you. It is an action. It is something to be practiced. So to say that you have focus is an interesting thing to state, in my opinion. I believe that this is a continuous action. It's like having energy, right? Sometimes it's a little bit more than other times, but when you take action, you essentially are creating that in your life. So saying you can't focus, right? Your levels of focus might differ. I get it. Like your creativity might differ depending on the day. But when you turn these things into actions, you start to kind of flex them and get them stronger, so that even if you're not necessarily having like the most creative, most focused day, you can still hunker down and get what it is that you need to get accomplished. And sometimes it's smaller things than other things, because, you know, our energy could be maybe one day it's like 120. Another day it's looking like more like 60%. I don't know. It's all dependent upon you, but I just believe that these things like our focus and our energy are actions that when we partake in them, we strengthen and get better at over time. When you start making it a repetitive practice to do the things that you would like to have, whether it's focus, whether it's higher energy, when you make that a practice, you get better at that. So if you're trying to stay focused on your goals, putting focus into your goals by writing them down every day, making bite-sized chunks, is a great way to practice this muscle. And also long-term wise, putting your goals up somewhere you see them every day is another way of getting the reps, getting the repetition. And that's really what I'm getting at, is the repetition. When you get the reps in, that's where you get the muscle memory. So when you watch me flip my guitar around my head, I've done that for almost 20 years. I was obsessed with learning about how to do that when I was a kid. And of course, as I've gotten more comfortable with my body through yoga, meditating, and living, I've learned how to do it in sustainable and healthy ways. But that comes from reps. It comes from doing it so much you don't think. You just are that thing, right? You just are. Like, you don't need to think about having to focus. You just throw yourself into it because you're so used to doing it over and over again that you get used to it. Again, being mindful of some days you might not be operating from, you know, your 120 mindset. It's okay. But at the same time, making it something repetitive you do will help you to navigate having a little bit less energy that day. But when it comes down to it, it comes down to the relationship you have with yourself. And when you write down the things you want to accomplish that day, or maybe for the next few months, that's between you and you. Only you can check in on your effort and see how you're doing, and essentially put in the energy to go after those things. Only you know if you've lived up to that potential, right? Only you do. It's a relationship you have with yourself. That's what it comes down to. And a great way to keep moving forward and progressing, right? Because I think Tony Robbins said it, progress is happiness, or it creates happiness, I should say. And as we continue to grow and expand, it's important to have focus on what it is that we're growing and expanding into. Now, we might be wrong, but we can pivot if we're wrong. But if you don't even have one point to focus on, then you're going to kind of go wherever the wind blows you. So creating a focus point, setting those goals every day, maybe it's just a couple of them, will help you to create things more in the long term that are feeling like the juice is worth the squeeze, if that makes sense. It's like, well, if you don't even know what fruit you're going after, who even knows if there's going to be juice? I don't know. Having an intention behind something makes you a lot more powerful. It also makes it a lot easier to create, because you're not trying to be all these things at once. You're focused on one. And again, making one choice and going one direction with your focus is what leads you down a path. Now, it might not be the path that's for you, but it's better than being stagnant, because when you're stagnant, you're not even moving. And the world is more apt to happen to you, not for you, because the universe moves with people who are on the go. So if you make a choice and you start focusing and moving, it might be down a direction you realize eventually isn't yours, but you can pivot then. But when you start moving down a direction, you start to figure out what it is that you want. A lot of times by figuring out what you don't want, but either way, going down a path is better than going down no path at all. And this comes back to taking action. And again, reps, getting the reps in of creating the focus in your life by doing it daily and putting things like goals, places that you see frequently is a really potent practice to engage in to stay focused on your goals. So I know we kind of went in on that one real quick. We didn't even do the meditation I like to do at the beginning. So we're going to do that now. So right where you're at, as long as you're not operating heavy machinery or a car or anything, close your eyes. And if you can't close your eyes, keep them open. It's all good. But take a nice big breath in from your nose. And a slower, deeper breath out from your mouth. Relax your shoulders down your back. Big breath in from your nose. Slower breath out as you surrender and let go. Big breath in here, biggest one you can. Hold it at the top of your inhale just for a moment. And then exhale really slow from your mouth. Coming back into this present moment. If your eyes were closed, gently open them at your own speed. Just see how you're feeling. Awesome. That's cool. I kind of like doing that at the end. It's nice. Feel that one out some more. But I hope that provided value for you guys today. Just remember that your focus is kind of like a muscle. It is something to be practiced. And the more that you get reps in, the better you get at it. You just keep creating and keep using your ability to create to strengthen other areas of your life. So think about what you want, put it down daily, create some type of year or maybe 3-month goal list, put it somewhere you can see it a bunch. And then each day, try for like 40 days. I dare you. If you try for 40 days, that's a great way to build a habit of just writing down a couple goals in the morning that you want to accomplish for the day. It's really important. And then accomplish them. And if you don't accomplish them, roll them into the next day, but get them done because the effort is between you and you, no one else. Only you can judge your effort. Keep rocking. Shout out to Presence, the sponsor of my podcast here. Epic app. Of course, I have meditations on and highly recommend you checking out. It offers well-being for everyone. Uses mindfulness tools to strengthen your connection to yourself, your relationships, and with technology. Helps to pause, meditate, and reflect daily, and Presence does exactly this. It's a great app by even greater people. So check it out. Links in the description here. If you like this, give this video a thumbs up or subscribe to my channel. I appreciate you guys. Thanks for taking the time to join me. It means the world. I love these little drop-ins and being able to share. The world can be crazy at times, but it's great that we have the ability to connect from anywhere and remind ourselves of how powerful we are. So thanks for being that for me. I hope I can be that for you. Until the next time, see you.